look at May as Baba's birthday. It's Baba's birthday. Technically it was on solar, it's on the 16th of the month, and lunar, it's on the full moon. So I think it's around the 25th of this month. But I always think about this is Baba's birthday. And as last week I talked about that Baba called me Ganesh. I'm Ganesh, remover of obstacles. And it's taken me a long time to surrender to a lot of what Baba taught me. I've known it, but sort of wanted to be the warm fuzzy guy, but not the warm fuzzy guy. I'm Ganesh. I got big ears. I got a tail or a trunk. Go around, and I'm looking. You walk in, up. I can see that obstacle. See that obstacle? Do you want that? Do you want that obstacle? You want to keep it? No. Okay, let's do it. You want that? No? Great. Now we can play. We can play. Because that's what I really do like to do that. I enjoy my work. But if somebody's fighting me, I don't like my work. I really don't. I really don't. So when people say, oh, but you should be able to speak up and you should be able to say things about, to the teacher. Can't you say, no to the teacher? Absolutely. But what do a lot of people do to a teacher?
Just fight you.
They fight. And what are some of the ways of fighting a teacher?
Keeping quiet.
Keeping quiet is a huge one. Anyone else?
Not listening.
Not listening. Not listening. There we go. I got that in stereo. Not listening is huge. Not listening. And so what happens is they'll be quiet and they'll sit in the class for 1 hour and then they leave and they do whatever it is they're going to do. Right? Sort of like what I always felt about parish church. Parish and even temple. And you go and you have a really nice service, and then the rest of the time is completely just whatever. And the problem with me, and I know that was with Baba, is though I do not think I am anywhere close with Baba, but the problem with me is I can hear whether you're practicing or not. As I said, I knew who practiced and who didn't while I was away. And it wasn't because somebody was emailing me, oh, I saw so-and-so at a nightclub. No, I know. I check. I hear. I know. I care about all of you. And I love all of you. And so I am looking out for you. And I will know. And I do know. So we'll go back to the question of, so what a lot of people do is they do deceit. They deceive. They think they're out there sneaking. And if everybody looked at my book, I talked about in 1979 when Baba came and said to me, he had me come and see him, and he was very, very disappointed with me. And for close to 2 hours, he talked to me about how I knew better and hadn't listened and hadn't told him and hadn't said anything. And what was it about? It was about someone else in the ashram who was, in fact, sneaking. So they had a public image. They all looked really good and together and everything was perfect and they were fun. And they showed up and they sat in the front and they did all that. And then they were going out the window and up the road for pizza. Now, they were doing some sneaking. And were they technically adult? Yes, but they were sneaking. And were they doing anything that was absolutely what we would call criminal? No. They were going against ashram dharma, yes, against the ashram discipline, but they weren't doing anything criminal. So somebody would say, well, what's the problem? The deceit is the problem. The sneaking is the problem. And I get really angry with the sneaking and the deceit that occurs. That's what Baba was really. Could this person have gone out the front door and gone? Sure. But what was so special? What did they want? Did they want the pizza?
They wanted the secret.
They wanted the secrets. They wanted the sneaking. They were holding on to the obstacle of deceit. Huge obstacle. The activity wasn't what was the problem. It was the motive, the intent that was the issue. So there have been people who've thought, because that's what they did, that when I finish class, that then I'm out there doing like everybody else. I'm going to nightclubs, I'm going here, I'm going there. Okay, you live with me.
She does a lot.
But that was the belief. The belief was that I'm deceitful, so, they're deceitful, so I'm deceitful. I do this. That everybody, because that's considered then normal. Normal. Baba really didn't like the whole deceit thing. He really didn't. And so then you go to, so how many people have heard me do the Kabir story with the Kamal, how many people? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You heard? Yeah? It's with the shuttle, with the light, wanting the light. Yeah, salt. I have told that story a gazillion times. So one of the people never heard it, didn't know the story. Is that true?
No.
No. Didn't want to hear. Didn't want to. I mean, I was like, are you serious? You mean the one with Kamal? He said they're asking about how do you know a disciple and how do you follow the guru? And he then drops the shuttle and says, Kamal, go get me a light. And it's in broad daylight, and Kamal go gets the light. And he picks up the shuttle. And then he said, bring kheer for the people, and put salt in it. And so Kamal puts salt in it, and everybody knows you put sugar in it. And they didn't get it. And he said, don't you see? Do you think Kamal's an idiot? No. He's obeying. He's learning. He's growing. So, can you say, so that particular person, no, don't know the story. Wow. Can you have been in my classroom and not known that story? No. No. Okay. So, can you say no to the guru? Can you say no to the teacher? Yes. But how many people say you're supposed to say Ji, which means yes? People always used to say, you got to just say Ji Baba. Yes, Baba. Ji Baba. Yes, Baba. That's it. That's it. Ji. Yes. And then you just fanatically obey. Or what do?
Sneak.
Sneak. That's what they did. That's what people did. They hid. They snuck. They did all kinds of that. So did they learn if they were sneaking?
No.
No. So they show up smiling at Baba, and Baba tells them to do something. They don't do it. And they snuck. A lot of sneaking. That's why Baba had me. Saw a lot. Saw TMI. TMI. But that's what I was supposed to do. And should I have not told Baba whatever it was that I saw? Should I have been loyal to that?
No.
Why not?
Because then you're not learning, and you're not helping them be able to learn. Because they need to be taught to. They need to be. That needs to come in front of them. Hey, I know what you're doing. This is the problem, and you didn't give them the opportunity to learn.
That's right. That's right. So, and I know who was teaching me, and it wasn't them. It was Baba. So, and Baba, in all those years, never let me down. Never. Once. Not once. Never let me down. So there were all kinds of rumors and everything. So I'm going to tell a couple of stories that I didn't put in my book about Baba. Because if you look at the book, did I say no?
Yeah.
I said no. I did. I said no. But did I then sneak around? No. I looked at him in the eye and I said no. And the picture over here, where we're having that little Leela with where I'm going to have, where Ian's going to be born, and he knew I was going to contradict him. He knew he wanted that because, but it was only going to be me because he knew I would do that. He had the head of the hospital from Kalyan behind, and he says to me, "You're going to go to Kalyan to have your baby?" And I go, what do I say? No, Baba. You remember, I'm going to Bridge Candy. I'm going into Bombay to have my baby. Now, somebody else would have then said,
Yes.
yes, Baba, gee, Baba, I'll go to Kalyan. You're telling me to go to Kalyan. I'll go to Kalyan, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Kalyan. But Baba knew I wouldn't do that. And that was part of the deal. I respected Baba not to coddle him and then sneak. I knew he knew everything. I knew he was looking out for my best interest always. Always. Never didn't. And he knew everything. So I'll do one, actually there are 3 stories. I didn't use this one story in my book because it had to do with my ex, and I didn't want to use it, but what the heck. So I'm in the courtyard, and Baba is sitting up in his seat. I'm in the back, and somebody comes up to Baba and brings him a beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. And I'm in the back, and I can see this beautiful watch. And there's nobody in the courtyard, because I'm standing there, and I think there was Sadhanan, a guy standing there. And we were the only ones allowed. And this guy came and brought Baba a watch, gave it to him. And I'm looking. My watch had broken recently. I didn't have a watch. So I'm internally going, and I say it internally, because I know Baba. I go internally, Baba, my watch broke. I don't have a watch. I don't have a watch. My watch broke. So he doesn't say anything. doesn't do anything. He doesn't give me the watch. Within 15, 20 minutes, it's time for lunch. He comes and off of his seat, and he usually goes in to his house, but he got off of his seat and he walks towards me. At the same moment, my then husband walks through the courtyard, because you were allowed to walk through the courtyard, you just couldn't stay. So he walks through the courtyard because he's going to head to lunch, and you have to go through the courtyard to head to lunch. And so there's an intersection where the three of us sort of meet, and Baba looks at him and says, "Your wife doesn't have a watch. You need to go buy her one. You need to get her a watch." And then he just goes his way, and that was it. Except right after lunch, when I go to the back stairs, Baba comes out and he has on this really nicely done, a little overdone, velvet orange vest with a heart, pockets. I mean, it was some devotee had made it. Very nice. And he's wearing it. And he asked me to go get my then husband, and comes up and he takes it off, the vest, and he gives it to him and says, "Now will you buy your wife a nice watch? Will you buy her a watch? Stop being so stingy." And he laughs and goes his way. The next day, nothing said, nothing's happening. Next day, Baba comes out, backstairs. He's got on this beautiful beaded hat. I mean, beautiful beaded hat. Velvet again, it's blues, and it's just beautiful. And he asked me to go get him. I bring him over, and he takes it off and gives it to the husband. "Now will you buy your wife a watch? Will you stop being so stingy?" Now, is this a Leela? Yes.
Yeah.
Is this something that he should have learned about? Didn't. He laughed. He thought it was very cute that Baba was saying that. But it turns out to be so true in so many ways. But he finally relents and he says, "Yes, I will buy her a watch." And Baba says, "Great, I will have the jeweler on Sunday talk to you." So of course, he tells the jeweler what he wants. At the same time, Baba tells the jeweler what he wants. And of course, a few weeks later, the watch shows up, and it's this stainless steel, not the nicest watch, but Baba's thrilled. And I wear it. It wasn't feminine, it wasn't sweet, but was it perfect for Ganesh? It was perfect for Ganesh. And I have to remember, somebody remind me, I will bring out the band that Baba gave me that I wore all the time that was like Wonder Woman, and it has Ganesh on it. It's solid silver. It's Ganesh. So here I am, I was weighing 100 pounds, and I got this watch, and I had Ganesh, and this thing, and a stick, and whatever. Okay, so everything was about a play. Baba was always teaching. There was always something. He knew it all, and he would play, and yet he was giving us each the opportunity to remove our obstacles. So now I go to the next story. Baba, it was in, I don't remember where it was, but this Leela went over 2-3 years. Started telling me I should have a baby. Should have a baby. I don't want a baby. I said it. I had no problem saying it. I don't want a baby. He said, "Well, then become a sannyas, a monk." No. I looked at him. No, I'm happy just the way I am. Should have a baby. No. Then be sannyas. No. I am happy just the way I am. We went on, we did this for, I'm telling you, for years. Went years. He'd come up to me, baby, no, sannyas, no, happy just the way I am. And it was a play. But I didn't say, gee, Baba, or yes, or whatever. I was honest with my no. I respected him enough to straight up say no. And so it unfolded until finally, much to my horror, sorry, Ian, much to my horror, the desire started coming up to have a baby, to have a child. And so went to, at this point I am no longer working that closely with him. So I went to, I wasn't handling his appointments, so I had a private darshan with him. And the way it worked was he sat at the one end of the room, and the person would walk in and go to all the way. So they had to walk the whole length of the room to get to him. And walked in, and I'm like way back here. And he looks at me and then my then husband and said, so you finally come to say that you want to have a baby. He knew. And it wasn't with me. He didn't do it with my then husband. He did it with me over and over and over again. And I said, yes. And so then he said, great, I'll tell you when. I'll tell you when. And so then I said, but Baba, because I'm not going to be deceitful, I was sick in India, and I knew we were going to go back to India. So I wanted to do something, we'll do it this way. He said, I'll tell you when. Don't worry, you won't be sick. It'll be fine. I'll tell you when. So we get back to India. I go, well, no, not yet. Well, no, not yet. No. He's done. No. Finally, there had been the Nityananda statue in Ganeshpur. It was a beautifully done statue. Had been done it was in silver. I think it was silver. And Baba had it taken out of the temple and gold put around it. Solid gold around it. And so there's a ceremony where they take the soul of the statue out of the statue before the work was being done, and it's put into a jar. And it's kept there until they put it back in when all the work has been done. So the statue was put into place and was all done, and there was an auspicious day that they were going to put that back in, the soul in, the spirit back in, and that was the day that Baba said. He said, okay. And he told me this before, like about a month before, and I'm going to tell you, my menstrual cycle changed completely in order to have that happen. It did. Now, I may look like an idiot for obeying Baba at that level. I did it the way he wanted it, the way he said to. And I did not, in myself, ever felt I lost any integrity by obeying him. And look what I got. Ian, how cool has that been? And Baba knew it was going to be a boy. And at 7 months pregnant, we did a puja which the picture's there. And I was working in the library still, in Baba's books. And then 2 weeks after the puja, Baba left his body on October 2nd. Ian was born December 9th. And Ian, because I know you're there, I have no regrets. The best thing, I resisted him for a long time, but it was absolutely, you and Aaron were absolutely so important to my sadhana. And I would not have done that if Baba hadn't kept at it. And that if I had not listened to him explicitly. But people go to me, I don't understand. Why do you want me to do this? Well, I don't understand. Well, obviously, then you're not listening. You're not looking. You're not anything. And for you guys, I don't ever tell you at that level to do. But if I tell you to do something, I promise you, there is a good reason. And about obeying, it's important. If you're not going to obey, respect the teacher and say no. Now everyone remembers, I think, that in my past life, when I was a little girl in Boston, I walked out of my 6th grade teacher. I looked at him, he was an ex-Marine, a tough guy, and I looked at him and I said, I've had enough. Stood up, walked out, went to the principal's office, and I said, I've had enough. I didn't run away. I faced it. You have to be willing, if you don't want to obey me, you have to say, I'm not going to do that. Or, no, I really don't want to do that. And I will say, okay, you'll get what you're going to get. Whatever that is. Okay. Okay. So actually I have 2 more stories. One I'm not involved in, but it was it was somebody I knew, because I don't want to reveal it. But Baba, they had gone to Baba, and most of you know this story. And they were traveling with Baba, and wanted to go to a sunrise meditation. And Baba said, they went to Baba and said, can I go? Can we go? And he said, yes, if you do not go before 4 a.m. Go after 4 a.m. and you can go. But Baba, if we go and wait until after 4 a.m., we won't make it for the meditation. You can go, but you have to wait until after 4 a.m. Do not go until after 4 a.m. Well, and you'll all remember this, you've done it to me. What is it he just doesn't understand, it's not a big deal, it's kind of this. There's all the rationalizations. He didn't understand. Baba didn't get it. He just doesn't know. He didn't realize maybe the translation, maybe the something. Well, they went before 4 a.m. And there was a huge car accident. The driver was killed. One person lost sight in one of their eyes. Another person had brain damage. Another person that I knew was in a coma for 2 weeks. And the best person had 2 broken legs and they crawled to a village. Now, would you listen after that? Or was that just a fluke or craziness or something? For a lot of people, I watched it over the years. That was just a fluke. Not gonna listen. I didn't know that. No. I would have been contemplating that for all eternity. What the heck happened? What was I doing? Why didn't I listen? Whoa. So here's the next one, and this one, not many of you know. Most of you have heard, or people have looked online and they see all these rumors about Baba and what he's done and what he did and all this sexual baloney that they're saying that happened, and abuse and horror and all that sort of stuff. And I worked very, very close with Baba, and there was never, ever anything. So I'm going to tell you a story. Baba, I would stand in the courtyard, and there was the meditation room, which was built around his initial room that Nityananda had made. So there was a wall, and then went that way. So in order to get into the meditation room, you had to go around. But you could look out a window. There were 2 windows, and this wall, because I usually saw the wall, that somebody could look through. And there was a door to Baba's house. So Baba would, every once in a while, he would go for a walk around the meditation room, because it was like it had been a veranda, so you could walk all the way around this room. So it was basically a donut, just went around. And he would walk around and people would be meditating, and he'd sort of bop them every once in a while or whatever. He'd do whatever. And so one day, it was just me in the courtyard standing, and Baba looked out the window of that room. And when Baba looked out, sometimes he'd have this look of just total Krishna. Just like, oh my God, everything in the universe was a gopi. And he was completely Krishna, the lover. And his eyes would just be blue. And he would just, oh my God, it was just wonderful bliss. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he goes like this. So I walked around, and I come into the meditation room, and he gave me a hug. It was lovely. He hugged me, and then I pranammed. I knelt down, I put my head to his feet. I got up, and I left. Next day, Leela's seen, if you notice, with Leela's, with plays, just as anything in life, they don't just have them once. So, and they build. Notice that? They build. They get bigger and better, whatever they're going to be. So, he looks out that window again. This. And I go around. And this time he held me a little closer. It was a little weird for me. And he sort of was tight. And then he tried to kiss me. And I didn't like it. So I pranammed. Afterwards, forehead to his feet. And I left. And I reflected. What is this? What's going on? What's happening? What do I need to do? What's right for me? What's right for me? So next day, remember, it's Leela. We're going to do this. Of course, nobody's in the meditation room. Of course, there's nobody in the courtyard. Of course, it's perfect. And Baba looks out that window and he's just like smiling and everything. Okay? And I go inside. No way. So he has left the window, right? And is going to the front of the door. At that moment, the head of then Baba's organization, and he was a rather large man who I liked very much, but he was a large man, this way, big guy. And I remember still remember he was wearing a white kurta and white pajama pants, big guy, dark hair. And I go, I'm not going to say his name, Baba wants to see you in the meditation room. I always wanted to have a photo of that. Who was more surprised? So he went around so Baba was standing there and that guy showed up. I played with Baba. Later that day, Baba's valet came to me and said, Baba had work for you and you didn't come. And I went, yeah, I know. After that, Baba never, ever did anything like that. And I always took it as a test. And I always took it as that Baba loved me with all his heart and was always removing obstacles. And he treated me with the utmost respect. And there was never a problem with, he never forced me to do anything that in my heart I knew was wrong. And that he always wanted me to feel good and clean and clear inside. And why he was so upset with me in 1979 was because he knew, as did I, that I did not feel clear and clean. He wasn't selfish. He wasn't doing it because he was a mean guy. He wanted me to be free and clear. And he did. He freed me. At that point, he totally freed me. It took some time, but it was, thank God, he freed me. So I want to say clearly, it's Baba's birthday coming up. Baba was a great, great being. That's all there is to say. He was a great and is a great guru. And I completely honor and respect my lineage. Very important. Thank you.
Thank you.